Hi, my name is Jenna Abdu, and I'm the leader of opposition for today's debate. I'm going to start out addressing my opponent's plan, providing rebuttal, and then I'll go into my positive matter. I have two pieces of positive matter for today. My first is that invasive species benefit the environment by providing food for plants and animals living in human-dominated spaces, and my second piece of positive matter is that invasive species have and will continue to have a positive and promising effect on medicine. Now I'm going into my rebuttal, which I'll begin by addressing a few points in my opponent's plan. I'd first like to regard her definition of invasive species, as she does not make a distinction between the over 1,000 different types. She does not account for species that are beneficial or that are benign and do not have any problems or pose any issues for the environment. It's also important that scientists are very biased towards invasive species and could be eliminating or inhibiting the growth of a species that could be beneficial in the future. Because of this, because of the lack of distinction, the money may not be spent in the smartest and most beneficial way. Next, I'd like to address the vagueness of the plan. I'm curious as to how they'll do this regulation, especially since it's going to be costing $220 million. The U.S. already spends $140 billion on preventing invasive species each year, and it has not proved to be successful. The smarter idea would be to use the money for research about invasive species, as many of them can have very positive effects on the ecosystem and human health. Next, the Prime Minister asserted that the plan will be focused on countries that are known to have serious invasive species, which will be ineffective because it only provides a band-aid solution to the problem. As a result of not accounting for invasive species that can be introduced from other countries, the narrow focus will disregard places that could be bringing stuff in, and invasive species are very often going unnoticed. Lastly, it's impossible to restore the ecosystem to its previous and natural state because it has been so drastically changed, and native species have actually become very rare. Now I'm going into my rebuttal. My opponent's first piece of positive matter was that invasive species are a major threat to the environment, which I'll address in my first piece of positive matter. Her second piece of positive matter was focused on invasive species posing a threat to future trade. Invasive species occur as a result of trade, tourism, transport, which are all very important to the global economy. Invasive species occur as a result of trade, and controlling them will actually damage the global economy in this respect. Therefore, it's a contradictory claim. Now I'm going into my positive matter. My first piece of positive matter is that many different invasive species are actually benefiting the environment by providing food for plants and animals. Native species develop mutually beneficial relationships with invasive species. According to studies done at Penn State University, honeysuckle feeds a local bird population, and the birds disperse the honeysuckle seeds throughout the environment. Returning this ecosystem to its natural state would actually harm all of these birds that use honeysuckle as a major food source. In Pennsylvania, honeysuckle accounts for over half of their food source. And it's important to note that this research also showed that the fruit-eating birds in this region are 3 to 4 times higher than only 30 years ago. So it's actually increasing the population of native species. The leader of the research explained that invasive species could fill niches in degraded ecosystems and help restore native biodiversity in an inexpensive and self-organized way that requires little or no human intervention. Another study was done at Washington University, and it focused on the Chinese mystery snail, which has provided food for many aquatic animals in Puget Sound, Washington. As a result of the water being used for human purposes, many fish, crayfish, and water birds have not had food. So the new species, which is the Chinese mystery snail, has provided invertebrate food for them, which also provides food for humans. My second piece of positive matter is that invasive species are used and can continue to be used for medicine. One example is the Japanese knotweed, which has been shown effective in treating Lyme disease. While many address that this is a dangerous invasive species, they fail to reflect that it is the most important herb treating Lyme disease, and its benefits don't stop there. The root of it is actually the most strongest source of resveratrol, which helps prevent heart disease and other degenerative diseases. It has also been linked to helping prevent cancer, has been linked to preventing Alzheimer's and dementia, and the antioxidants support a youthful appearance. Another positive invasive species is dandelions. Dandelions are filled with vitamins A, B, C, D, iron, potassium, and zinc. It has been used to treat kidney disease, swelling, skin problems, heartburn, digestion, breast problems, and diabetes. It has also been used as a diuretic. Scientists are currently working to discover more about the dandelion, and the potential is very promising. So if by controlling and preventing these the species will decrease the amount of research that scientists are able to do on them, thus decreasing our chance to have a huge breakthrough in health. So I'd like to conclude today on that note. If your sister or your brother had Lyme disease and the only way to cure them was with an invasive species, what would you do?